There should be no time when your wife is questioning you about how you're talking to the kids when you're being disciplined. But if I'm telling my son to get his ass up and go do what I told him to do, and the way that I say it bothers her, if she respects me as one, her man, and two, more so the mother, I mean, not just her husband, but the father of these kids, she's not going to question me. And if she were to, it would be after the fact in private. Because again, you don't question the father in front of the children.
Women carry the sound, the voice of care, right? So when we talk about emotional intelligence and then we talk about the family that you grew up in, if you grew up in a home where maybe there were two parents, right? But your mother was the voice, right? Maybe your dad worked a lot, he was away a lot, didn't really say much. When you grow up, if you want to be a wife, right, you become married, your brain is only used to the voice of care. So it will attempt to mute your husband's voice of justice. And so that will sound like, well, why are you talking to me like that? When they just talking. I don't like the way you saying that, right? They try to rear the kids. Why are you talking to the kids like that? I don't like how you talking to them. And that is an attempt for your brain to revert back to what's familiar, where you simply have a house where the voice of care is the predominant house. And so if you are successful, you will mute your husband's voice and he won't have a voice, or your husband will say, I can't do this anymore, and leave. Ooh. Same thing for the men. If you grew up in a house where the woman's voice was the largest voice, you may determine that you don't need to be in the house as much. She got it, right?
My first thoughts is I think that there's validity, a lot of validity in what she's saying in regards to like people normalizing conversation styles and the way people parent and growing up. So earlier today, I was having a conversation with my daughter about what needed to be done, and it was in a stern tone, and she got upset. Right now, somebody that, like I was referencing earlier, didn't understand why I was saying this, what I was doing, may have stepped in and tried to prevent me from saying, hey, no, this is necessary, that you have to do this spelling so you can complete your spelling test. I know you're upset right now, but you're going to have to push through this. And that's it. That's all. There's no, I'm going to let you just go to sleep and baby, you need to get this done. I'm telling you, this needs to be done. Her mother would not have taken that approach, right? If you see a lot of son husbands or men who like never got any consequences to their reaction, like consequences in their life, and a lot of that stuff comes from being babied by their mom and not having a father there, or the father not being allowed to properly discipline the child, and he was able to skirt all discipline and all consequences. And I think that's an example of what she was saying about just care, because typically people who operate with care don't also have that duality where discipline is at the forefront. And discipline is important, especially when you're dealing with boys, to ensure that they move forward on the right process with life, and with girls too, so that they understand that things need to go a certain way. So yeah, I agree.
So I do have a question to pose. I'll let you get your initial thought of those, Sharon. You raise your hand, and then I got a question. You go ahead.
I think I would love to see the full thing of what she said. I think is an opportunity there for men to understand that they have power in their household. If your wife is challenging your authority or something, you should be able to explain and express why you are approaching this tactic on your child at the time and why you are doing so. If you have to be, how Marcus just explained, why he had to be stern in that moment. If your wife is challenged why you being so stern, you should be as a man to explain to her, this is why I'm being stern at the moment, because whatever that situation is. Men should not want to cower because the woman is questioning a situation at hand because they see things differently. That's the beauty of women, right? They usually crossing our eyes and down our teeth because we could have horse blindness sometimes, and sometimes we could be too rigid at a long period of time. And sometimes we do need to just reflect and sometimes, oh, you know what, I got to soften up on this part and not always be militant in every aspect of parenting, because the men are also nurturing as well. We nurture our children as well. A man being stern and happy and fun, we are all those things. We are not just punishers in our household. And we got to stop creating this idea that men are only the discipline part of parenting. No, we also nurture and love our children as well too. So don't be afraid to explain to your wife, hey, I did it because X, Y, and Z. And also your wife should be able to understand if you explain it full, sometimes you're gonna have to have that strong tone, and then sometimes you're gonna have to have that loving tone. But don't shy away from it just because your woman voiced a concern.
I think that if a woman,
So I do have I want to present the question though. So
wait, hold on.
I'll give you a little
Answer that
What
first. That first question. If your
there
woman,
wasn't no question. You could though.
if your woman doesn't understand that, you've already fucked up. There should be no time when your wife is questioning you about how you're talking to the kids when you're being disciplined. It's inherently it's a safe assumption to say that we're not like, you get your motherfucker, not that ratchet shit. Obviously, there's room for interjection. But if I'm telling my son to get his ass up and go do what I told him to do, and the way that I say it bothers her, if she respects me as one, her man, and two, more so the mother, I mean, not just her husband, but the father of these kids, she's not going to question me. And if she were to, it would be after the fact in private. Because again, you don't question the father in front of the children. But I am of the belief that if a woman thinks it's okay to even question him when he's leading with discipline, which is his form of love in that moment is discipline, she doesn't respect him as a man anyway. Because as soon as something goes bad towards her, she's likely, can't say always, but there's a higher probability that she will do the same thing to him.
Let me just add this real quick, just 15 seconds.
I want to rebuttal that.
I'm not questioning. You sow dissent amongst the kids and what y'all doing. The other thing you can't do is remove power over the mother to discipline, or like what she's saying don't matter, just do what you want. You also can't do that because you'll effectively make it so she can't manage the kids when you're not there.
But yeah, that goes. That was not.
Yeah.
I definitely wasn't.
No, I know it wasn't. I was just adding to it.
That was going to be my premise as well. That would be another opportunity to show that, hey, you can have discernment in front of the children. Say, hey, me and your mother can have a back and forth of disagreements and have where they could understand that just because we disagree doesn't mean that we got to have an argument and that we got to go to some kind of dangerous situation for the children. I should be able to say, hey, babe, no, this is why I did X, Y, Z. And the kids is going to be able to respect that I can calm myself down and have control of the house. And they will also understand how to have conflict resolution in real time because they've seen their parents have conflict resolution right in front of them. So it's another opportunity to show growth with your children. So I'm
this is also provided that you have somebody who's a sound person who knows how to communicate. I think like almost what Willie was saying, there's certain interjections, but with people who maybe are constantly yelling at their kids and the kids aren't opening up to them, and then they wonder why they always go to the mom, or if the mom's like that and they always go to the dad because they are walking on eggshells or things like that. I think that you're talking about a person who actually knows how to parent properly and knows how to understand how their energy can give off. They know how to discipline their kids in an appropriate way. Obviously, I would never condone somebody questioning the other person in front of their children. I've seen that before, and it never is good, because now the kids know how to pull from whatever the opposite side is that's being the parent that's being questioned. So.
I wish growing up that my mom wasn't the dominant person in the house with a male figure in there. Because I've said before, my dad was always the, he don't want no trouble. He just real, just real nonchalant, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like, not saying I turned out bad, but I will say I would love to have more of a male presence, you know what I mean? To know, as I got older and was in the military meeting different type of men, excuse my French, knowing when to shut the fuck up. Because as I came up in the military, it took me to maybe 30s and up to figure that out versus, in my earlier part where all I knew was my mom, she ran it. And when I say she ran it, she ran a household. You know what I mean? And maybe my brother would have turned out a little different. So, yeah.
So the question I did want to ask to the panel is, I'll just give you a little insight first. So there was an actual decade where my father worked 2 full-time 8-hour jobs. So naturally there would be much time where he's away. Do we think that there is some type of a balance that the parents can develop if one parent is just not going to be away? I mean, going to be away, or we also have to talk about men that are deployed sometimes, right? He's just not going to be there. So do we think that there is a balance where people can have their significant other be able to be on the same page, be able to hold that discipline, and be able to keep that respect and communication going with the other side?
No.
I don't think in the military that you use in the military. No, nope.
No.
Not
So,
as far
all right.
as
So,
deployments. What you going, you go.
as two veterans, what would you say that may have happened with your children, or what you may have seen with some of your colleagues
Kids out with
during that process?
There's no different than like with a relationship with an adult, and it's even more so with children. It's out of sight, out of mind. If my kids know that I'm gonna be gone for 9 to 12 months, they're automatically thinking as soon as dad is gone, I ain't got to do shit that he had me do because my mom ain't gonna make me do it. Because the majority of the times, the moms do not make them do it. It's not a big a deal for him to go outside and do something. It's not a big a deal for him to go outside and pick up paper. It's not a big a deal for him to clean his room. Those aren't things that moms tend to make their kids do when there is a dad in the home. So for those 9 to 12 months, they are all about the mom. That's why they make military members take classes on how to come back home. We have to reacclimate to our families. We can't go from, we gone for 9 months and then immediately walk in and be back on your drill sergeant shit. Be back on your stern discipline, your stern love. You have to go back and ease yourself back in. And that's what happens to the majority of military men. Military women, when they deploy and they leave kids, it's almost as if they get to just come right back to where they were because all they have to do is do the nurturing shit again. Hey, mama love you, pick you up, buy you stuff because you done saved up a bunch of money for deployment, saying cooking food, and you just get that soft time back. So it's a little easier for women to adjust from that in the military, at least.